Hey, I am back. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit more about ways you can utilize the principle of polarity. Video cut off on me last time. I was halfway through this video and it just conked out on me. I guess some forces don't want y'all to hear this message, but I will not be denied, I tell you. So, in this video, um, in this video, we're going to talk about, when you are re-educating yourself on reconnecting with your divinity, the highest aspect of yourself, by utilizing the principle of polarity, going from your ego personality to your divinity. That is what polarity is all about. You're going to have those fears come about. You're going to have those doubts come about. There are forces within you that want to keep you as is. Whatever you're fearing, whatever you're lacking, there are entities that are feeding off that. So you want to identify whatever your fears are, whether you know them or not know them. Fear of rejection, fear of lack of abundance, fear of love. And you want to identify the opposite of it: faith, courage, divine love. You want to affirm your desired polarity. And now you want to visualize yourself already in the new frequency, sort of like that faking it till you make it type of jazz we used to talk back in the day. But you want to feel it intensely, consistently. You know what I'm saying? This is not a 24 or 48 hour process. Once you begin to identify with the highest aspect of yourself, that is who you truly are. When you reincarnated into this lower domain, you took on, whatever the name your parents gave you, you took on the family dynamic, whatever energies are manifesting in that particular bloodline, you took on all of that, but that is not who you are. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to utilize the principle of polarity to shift from that aspect of yourself into the highest aspect of yourself, which is a higher vibration. So as I mentioned in the last video, I've connected with one of my soulmates or spiritual sisters who are very powerful and gifted at revealing to you who you truly are, the highest aspect of yourself, as well as giving you the methodology into harnessing the power of your highest divinity. Because there's power in a name. You may also not only get the name of who you truly are, the highest aspect of yourself, but you may also get names of the masculine principle and the feminine principle within your own higher self. And that way you can start addressing the feminine principle by a name. That is also very powerful, because now you are really connecting with the truth of who you really are. This helps to really elevate all phases of your life. You know what I'm saying? So what is also very important when you're working on harnessing higher energies or working on aligning yourself with infinite wealth, more wealth than you can ever need, is your nervous system. So you have to instruct the feminine principle to balance the energies within your nervous system. Invoke your higher self or invoke the feminine principle to align your nervous system with higher spiritual energies. Invoke the feminine principle within yourself to align your nervous system with infinite wealth. The more you do this consistently, not every now and then, not when some guru on TikTok or wherever else tells you, not doing some cosmological event, day and night, throughout the day. Take you 5 minutes, several times a day, to identify with the highest aspect of yourself. Write down your newly affirmed polarity vibrations. Make you a little short list, and you want to put this to the feminine principle aspect of yourself all the time. Now, when you're going through this transformation, There are going to be parts of you that want to block this. You're going to start feeling so tired. You may get more hours on the job. Family out of nowhere is going to start calling you with more drama, which is more draining. All of these antics are to deter you from this transformation. I can only encourage you to ignore and keep moving forward. You'll be surprised when you get on this path of transformation and moving more so as your divine self of who you truly are. You're really going to see the characters around you act the whole entire fool. They're going to feel the shift within your energy, and I'm telling you, they are coming. With all the sob stories, all the antics, the ones that is closest to you, coming with that animation, coming with that drama, anything to knock you off balance, and then you're going to really see who has really been on your side. All the while, when you begin to move in this new frequency of vibration, of identifying with the highest aspect of yourself by utilizing the principle of polarity. So when you get this consultation or service or whatever, it's going to be so powerful to know who you truly are and to know that name, and now to create from that name, to create from that frequency and vibration. So to shift your dominant focus from the negative pole to the positive pole of your desired frequency, you're going to speak from it, act from it, moving forward all the time. Placing your attention on your higher self. Anytime you begin to feel fear, loneliness, despair, shift quickly from that feeling and emotion to the highest aspect of yourself. That is utilizing the principle of polarity. The more you do that, the more you will master the energies of your mind. This is a practice. It's not going to happen in 24 or 48 hours. But the more you put this into practice with feeling and intention and attention, the new frequency will begin to take hold. Keep in mind, the brain cannot hold conflicting emotions equally. It will prioritize the dominant. So whatever the dominant feeling is, that is what's going to manifest for yourself. So the more you do this, miss me all day, but you ain't got 5 minutes, 3 or 4 times a day to put this into practice. I promise you, I don't know you, but you ain't been no more busier than I have, or anybody else who decides to put this into practice. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, several times a day. You ain't been no more tired. You ain't worked no more hours. You ain't no more busy. This is no excuses. This is 5 or 10 minutes, and then when you get home and get settled, and now you're visualizing your new reality from the perspective of your highest divinity of yourself. Be a co-creator. That's when you may have more time. If you can't sleep at night, 1:32, 3 o'clock in the morning, you can't sleep, it's manifestation time. See clearly what you want to manifest for yourself, and don't allow the ego personality to trick you into believing that if you think or imagine as big as you ever have in your life, so big that it frightens you, that is going to take you forever to manifest. That is a trick of the ego. You know what I'm saying? So you want to do this consistently and quite often, so you can rewire your perception with repetition and emotional charge. The more you put that emotion to it, the more it can't help but to take place within the feminine principle. Your feminine principle records whatever you feel most consistently. So train your feminine principle to expect the positive pole and it will magnetically correspond to results. Expect the positive pole to manifest itself. Expect it. Feel it. Be delirious with your power. You know what I'm saying? Be stupid with your power. You know what I'm saying? This is how you get the energies to take hold with the definitive principle more rapidly. Feeling is the secret. Feeling determines the pole you activate. So it's very important that you feel this new desired polarity for yourself. Also, within all of this is the law of rhythm. Rhythm is everything goes up, goes down. So whatever rhythm that you're in, if it's not your desired rhythm, whether the rhythm is lack of money, you in the rhythm of lack of love, lack of romance, you're going to shift to the highest aspect of yourself, put this to the feminine principle within yourself, and call upon that energy to create the changes. Creative solution that brings you more love, more money, more business, whatever. Put it to the feminine principle, but you have to from the masculine principle of yourself. That is the active aspect, that is the willpower. Once you get instruction or prompting from the feminine principle, it is now time to act from the masculine perspective. You know what I'm saying? So once you give instruction to the feminine, you can now stand back and watch the feminine principle to manifest your intentions that you give her on the inner planes. You know what I'm saying? So that is how you're going to utilize more effectively the principle of polarity, identifying more so or exclusively with your divinity. A few people that I've talked to that we've been on this information for a little while now, they have changed their names legally to usher in the new frequency. They completely divorce from the ego personality and identify more so legally with their God self, or a name that they can share with the public, and other names they also in the private, but they manifest from those names, from that name, for example. So it's very possible that if you have an altar, whether you have a physical one or one that you create in your mind or whatever, it's very possible that you could be one of those deities on your altar. Some of the deities on your altar, it is so crazy. Some of the deities on your altar have reincarnated also in this domain, and they don't know who they are. Can you imagine Ra or Thor or Odin or Apollo or the great goddess Alset is walking around amongst you and don't know who they are? They forgot, just like you have. And they're on the path, because you know in the higher dimensions, in the higher planes, there's a negativity there. So it's hard to evolve. So when deities want to evolve and get stronger, they descend into hell, onto a lower domain to evolve. So that is what you're going through when you decide, especially if you're a high level god or a goddess or whatever you may be. You come down here to, if you're that ancient or that old, you come down here to assist those that are elevating themselves. At the same time, you're evolving yourself. You know what I'm saying? You get down here and you set yourself up with a certain set of lessons, however painful they may be, and you get yourself out of it. That's your evolution. If you have a rugged upbringing, you've experienced some trauma, and you overcome that despite the odds, and you overcome that anyway, that's your evolution. That's the wisdom, that's the knowledge that you have gained. And once you awaken to your highest potential in a single lifetime, despite going through trauma, lack of every kind, that is badass in the spiritual world. You came down here to hell And despite having all the challenges, the traumas, broken home, broken family, the generational line you may have reincarnated in is in disarray. And despite all of that, you still regain memory of who you are and begin to move and create from that position. That is badass in the spiritual world. And also, once you awaken to who you are, or find out who you really are, you also have allies, especially if you can find yourself in the mythology books. That is so dope to find yourself in the mythology books and you can read about who you are, especially as a deity. That is so dope. So keep that in mind. There are forces within you that want to sabotage your efforts. The Matrix is often going to use those closest around you to distract you, to pull on your energy. That is when you invoke your higher self for protection. It's usually going to come in the form of symbols. Symbols are very powerful. Don't allow the gurus to tell you you don't need any symbols. Symbols are very powerful. The right kind of symbols can make you immortal. The right kind of symbols can make you a deity. Even though you're already a deity, can really unlock your divinity in a single lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Can protect you from any type of negativity in this realm with the right symbols of power. Coming from the inner planes and coming from higher elder gods, elder goddesses. So this is a symbol that also came to me doing meditation, like I share. It's this symbol. If you're new to the channel, I rock hard with the runes. Everybody I turn on to the runes have great experiences when working with runic energies. So here, if you're unfamiliar with the runic energies, we have Sawulo. In this case, Sawulo is going to be utilized to strengthen your connection with your divinity, strengthen your connection with the oneness of creation. Sawulo also strengthens your ability to overcome obstacles, mental obstacles, emotional obstacles. So what do we mean by emotional obstacles? A lot of people struggle to let go of stuff. Let go of the past failures, past pain. So that blocks you from greatness, emotional stuff. You know, emotions can block you from wealth. Holding on to negative emotions can block you from love, can block you from healing. So it's imperative that you learn how to heal deeply the emotional body. This is also what you put to the feminine principle of yourself. Call upon her to heal your deep-seated emotional wounds. Whatever your pain is, she knows where it is and where it's at, but you have to instruct her to heal it. If you have an emotional block to wealth, she knows what the block is, and she, meaning the feminine principle of yourself, can get to work on eradicating that fear. Now, mind you, once you're going through this purging, you're going to see some ass kicking taking place in the dream state. These are entities being knocked off you. You start seeing people getting killed in the dream state. These are entities being knocked off you. Once you invoke your ancient ancestors to help you in this process, because you're going to need help, invoke your ancient ancestors, invoke the goddesses, the gods of your bloodline. Just in the asking, they're going to come to your aid. Once you do that, you're going to see changes take place in the dream state. Once you're going through a purging, and once you start seeing people getting their butt kicked, these are your ancestors moving negative energies and entities out the way. So be on the lookout for that. So Sawulo is energy of vitality. It's an energy connected with solar energy also. So you're going to work with it in terms of energy you can simply meditate upon that strengthens your connection with your higher self, strengthens your ability to overcome mental and emotional obstacles, blockages, and also for self-empowerment. Here is the energy of Uros. Uros is that primal energy, will give you the strength and ability to overcome obstacles, restore harmony and balance to the mind and the emotional body. But in this case, is it going to strengthen your mental body, strengthen your emotional body, because you're going to need strength when you're going through this process. And it's like that energy of the great elephant, helping you to overcome obstacles, primal energy. You know what I'm saying? So this energy here is going to give you that extra to heal the mental and emotional bodies and help you to overcome obstacles, to give you that great power. Here we have Thorasas. Thorasas energy is associated or connected with Shango, also with the god Thor, also connected with the Orion constellation, as I've stated in several videos. So in this case, Thorasas is the breaker of resistance, breaker of mental and spiritual and emotional resistance to change. Because there are going to be parts of you that resist what I'm talking about. So you want to utilize this symbol of power to eradicate that resistance. Here we have protection in Elhaz. Elhaz is one of the most powerful cosmic energies of protection. So you're going to meditate on Elhaz. It strengthens your connection also with your higher self and higher sentient beings. Here we have Edwaz. Edwaz is an energy that balances the masculine and feminine energies within yourself. It also helps in speedy progress. In this case, speeding up the awakening of the highest aspect of yourself and balancing the both masculine and feminine energies within yourself. So the way you want to work with this energy, feel free to screenshot it. You want to simply visualize it, see it flashing within yourself. The key is to feel the energy of Sawulo, Uros, Thorasas, Elhaz, Edwaz. See the image flashing, memorize the symbols. The symbols are very ancient, very primal forces of nature, cosmic forces of nature. So you want to see the image flashing within yourself, feel the energies awakening within you. The energies are very intelligent, and once you instruct the energies to clear away any mental, emotional blockages, to strengthen your connection with your own divinity, the energies is going to get to work on doing just that. But instruct the energies, again, to remove any resistance to change, any mental and emotional resistance, to give you the strength to overcome mental and emotional obstacles. You know what I'm saying? Strengthen your connection with your highest divinity, the highest aspect of yourself. The more you work with this symbol, the more you'll feel the shift in consciousness take place. I recommend working with it, 5 minutes at a time. Not so much at night, because this is solar energy. It's not going to hurt you, but solar energy is energized. You know what I'm saying? So you want to work with it first thing in the morning or towards the afternoon or later evening, but not so much, late at night. But you can if you want to. If you feel compelled to, knock yourself out. But I usually work with solar energy, first thing in the morning and, during sunset. But again, use your intuition. If intuition said it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you want to work with it, no problem. So, if you have any questions pertaining to this video or whatever, give me a holler. If you're interested in that consultation from a soul sister or soulmate, give me a holler. I give you more detail. Until next time, peace.